everyone, welcome to the Betti Show. It's really lovely to have you all here today. This is a very special Betti Show because this is the student edition. We wanted to give a big welcome to all the students who are here new to the city. So welcome. If you are a student, give us a little hello, say where you're from in the chat. We'll be paying attention. Adam's over there and he'll be looking at the chat. If you are not a student and you are just here for the crack, then welcome too, because we've got an absolutely brilliant lineup. So I know you're going to have a really good time. So who's in the room with us today? So to my left, we've got the lovely PK. PK is wearing a lovely blue jumper. He's got some nice trousers on and he's got some nice shoes on as well. Behind him, we've got Lauren Patterson, who is going to be doing some comedy with us tonight. And she's wearing a leopard print top. Yes, leopard print top. Behind Lauren, we've got the brilliant Adam Goodwin, who this wouldn't be happening without Adam. This whole thing wouldn't be happening. I wouldn't be here with you today without Adam. He's wearing a nice stripy blue top and some nice jeans and some cool white trainers. And then we've got Andrea, who is our tech brilliant person, and she's wearing a black jumper. And then there's me. My name's Liv Hunt. I'm going to be your host for this evening, and I'm wearing a blue checky jumper and I've got a blue dress on. So what are you going to be watching today? So we have got some brilliant music from Patrick Kelly. We're then going to have a stand-up comedy set by Lauren Patterson, and then we're going to be directing you to see Meat Factory, which is a play by David Rayner. So we've got lots of really exciting things, and to top it all off, we've got some prizes to win. So what can you be winning today? So we have got lots of Alphabetti calendars, which if you haven't had before, I think you really need to get your hands on some of these because they are brilliant. I've got one at home. If you don't know Alphabetti and you don't know Rex, well, he's our theatre dog and we love him, and we made a calendar especially for him because he's that brilliant. And we're going to be giving away lots of these calendars. And as a special prize, there's brilliant, I'm going to say Mr. February Rex, who's looking like Cupid. I don't know if we can zoom in on that. Can we zoom in on that, Adam? I don't know if you can. Oh, look at that. Ooh, this is one of my favourites. So, basically, I've hidden this Rex somewhere in the studio. Ooh, okay. I've hidden this Rex somewhere in the studio, and when you see Cupid Rex, I want you to say, "Hey Cupid," in the live chat. And when you say, "Hey Cupid," the first person who says, "Hey Cupid," you will win an Alphabetti calendar. And I'm going to get up our high-tech Alphabetti prize box. You will also win, some stickers. Some stickers. And they're colourful stickers. And they start off yellow and they end blue. And there's some nice colours in between. So you'll get a calendar and some stickers. Yeah, how about that for a prize? Also, if I say the word, someone give me a word. Patrick, give me a word.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. When I say the word spaghetti, at some point during the show, you will also win your very own piece of Alphabetti. And you'll be able to take that home with you and cherish it and keep it close to your heart. So that's the kind of prizes that are in store for you today. I'll also announce a special extra prize somewhat, during the show. So we've got lots in store for you this evening, but I just want to tell you a little bit more about us. Who is Alphabetti Theatre? We are a 80-seater venue. We are in the centre of Newcastle upon Tyne. We are just opposite the Discovery Museum, and we have lots of brilliant shows on. We've got theatre, we've got stand-up comedy, we've got music, and there's loads of ways that you can get involved with us. Some of the really popular student nights, we've got a student night called Showioki, where a lot of musical theatre students come along and they take part and they have the dance and they have a sing-song, and it's just great. So there's lots of ways that you can get involved with us. So with that in mind, I'm going to introduce you to our first guest, Mr. Patrick Kelly, who's going to sing us a song that he wrote. Take it away, Patrick.
Hiya. me love you. Let me love you. Let me see you like I'm meant to. Let me know you. Let me know you. I will hold you like I'm supposed to. I'm dreaming of the day. I'm dreaming the world away in my little boat off the coast of where we left off. I'm seeing high. The stars collide with our hearts entwined in our little story. So let me love you. Let me love you. I can hide you and tell you how I love you. Cheers. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. Thanks. That's very nice. Am I coming that way? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that for sure. Yeah.
Do I need to do any spraying now? Any COVID spraying? No?
COVID sprays.
COVID sprays. COVID sprays. Do you want a COVID spray? Do you want a COVID spray?
COVID sprays. I'm alright, actually.
You're
I think COVID
right.
sprayed quite enough. What, Jan? We'll move
So,
the chair.
yeah, please take a seat.
I'm moving it this way.
Welcome. Oh, no, you're going to stay there.
Oh, I've got to.
Yeah, 2 meters apart.
2 meters,
Yeah.
sorry. I haven't left the house very much. I don't really know how it's all going to
I know,
working,
but it's
to be
nice
honest.
being back here, though,
Really
isn't it?
is, yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to be back.
It's one of my favourite places I've ever played, I think, to be honest. Especially in Newcastle. I've played there a number of times, and it's lovely. Just the playing in the theatre environment is really nice, you know.
So is it different then? Do you find that it's different to like playing in, say, like a music venue? Yeah,
because I think in like the theatre mentality of people that go and see theatre, they're automatically just a bit more respectful and will listen and be a bit more attentive. Whereas a lot of the time in the kind of gig environment, you'll be there with your mates and you can have a bit of a chat and whatever else.
Heckling.
And honestly, depending on what music, exactly, a bit of heckling, which I don't deal with very well. I just kind of go like, oh, I don't know what to say to you. I'm too nice to pull you down or something like that, or make fun of you or whatever. So, yeah, I do. I definitely prefer the theatre kind of environment than even a bar or like a gig.
Nice. And so you played us a song today. Why did you choose that song?
So I wasn't actually going to play that song. The reason that I did is because there's a little bit of backstory to it.
We like a backstory here. Go on.
So obviously lockdown and that happened, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to be super creative over this time I'm gonna spend the next however length of time writing and recording. I'm just gonna like make an album and release it. It's gonna be class. Like the world's not gonna know what's hit them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then about a month into it, my laptop died and I lost all my work. And the only thing that I managed to salvage were 2 songs, and that was one of the songs that I managed to save from it. So then I sent it to one of my friends, and he mixed it, and I'm gonna release that in like a month.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of like a lullaby or something like that, you know.
Yeah, it's really lovely. I think that's really funny about when you say about lockdown, because I think that's a thing that a lot of people have been feeling, especially like creative people, in terms of going, I've got to now come out with this big thing, and I've got to do all this stuff during lockdown. Whereas really,
that's it.
We're just trying to get through a pandemic.
I know, right. Right, and try and maintain whatever kind of sanity we can. Yeah. Totally. But I think a lot of people find that creative-wise, like didn't. They thought they were going to be so creative and all that stuff's going to happen, but then whenever you're trapped in a house and and you're not really getting much inspiration outside of the 4 walls that you're in, you kind of lose stuff to write about or lose inspiration, and there's only so much you can kind of work with, you know. Yeah. So fortunately I had a bunch of stuff that I could kind of work on and wasn't like previously, so I wasn't trying to get inspiration from a little kind of cave, you know.
And now, like, going back to a world before coronavirus and pandemic, was there? I don't know. Do you want to just tell us a little bit more about like the work that you do, a little bit more about your kind of like music career, if you like?
So I've been playing music for a good number of years. Played music, started whenever I was about 8, but then started playing guitar and writing music about maybe 8-9 years ago. And after I came over to Newcastle to study for university, studied theatre and acting and performance, and then afterwards just kind of broke off and was like, I want to just focus on music. So then started a band called Many Moons, and then started like writing. The past kind of couple of years I've been working with different like theatre pieces. So I work with a guy called Gavin Coward, who's a very talented dancer from the northeast, so I've been writing music for his kind of some of his dance pieces, and then a couple of other commission pieces and stuff like that. So I think my background of having experience within the theatre world has opened doors for me to be able to write music for that kind of side of things. Then I write music, like singer-songwriter stuff, like from a band, and I've been gigging quite a lot over the past couple of years, and then I did like cover gigs in kind of bars and stuff to kind of get my main wage. So.
And you do a bit of dance yourself, don't you?
Do a bit of dance. I do a little bit of dance.
So we were doing some ballroom dancing before we started the show, just to warm ourselves up. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
And you're doing a bit of salsa. Teach me some salsa.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it was good fun. It's all right. It's all about, like we were saying, you've got salsa, and then you've got the rumba, and then you've got some other things, and the rumba scene as being a little bit kind of more saucy and whatever else.
Sexy.
But salsa's a bit more freeing, and then you were mentioning about the puppetry.
Yeah.
Using that, to kind of break in puppetry as well.
So I should probably mention that me and PK know each other. We both went to uni together. We went to Northumbria Uni, and so did Lauren Patterson. Lauren went to uni here as well, and so did Andrea. So we like a theme here. It's all Northumbria students, obviously. So do you just want to talk a little bit about what you liked about being a student in Newcastle? It doesn't necessarily have to be Northumbria.
So it's my impression of I came to uni whenever I was a little bit older. So I was about 20. I think it was about 22 whenever I came over, and whenever all my mates went to uni, whenever they were like 18, they were like, going to go to Newcastle. In my head, I was like, there's no way. I would have go Geordie Shore. Not a chance. That was not my cup of tea. And then whenever I got to the point of actually looking for university, me and my friend came over, and we were having a look about, and we loved it. Like we absolutely loved it. Geordies and kind of or just people from the northeast and people from back home from the north of Ireland are very kind of similar personalities and that, so I just felt like I was at home as soon as I moved over here,
Yeah, I think so many people say that, and so many people who go come here for uni or whatever, they tend to stay for a lot longer than what they think they might stay originally. And I think there's something about Newcastle and the northeast where it just like, it's sticky. Totally, I always say it's sticky. It sticks to you, and you just don't want to.
It becomes a part of you. Do you know what I mean? It's like intertwines itself. Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that So coming over to uni, it was. I wasn't even sure if I even wanted to come to uni for a while. To be honest, I think that's what took me so long. And then I'm really glad that I came to Newcastle of all places. And then just meeting people. That was like, I think that's something that I loved so much, was the opportunity to meet so many people from different backgrounds and different cities, different places around, even around the world, the rest of the UK and that too. But just all the time, every week, you were meeting like new people, whether it was because of whether it was like anything to do in your halls, or maybe it was like social things or something like that, or even just like I say, you were meeting people from all sorts of backgrounds and that, which is class. And some of the friendships that I've, like us here, do you know what I mean? Some of the friendships that I've made that are still like close or still mates is lovely too, you know. Obviously that you have some people that kind of broke off and are doing their own thing separately now, but the ones that kind of stuck there, you probably didn't really expect it to be the case a lot of the time, you know.
So for students who are like, say they're doing the drama course or whatever, do you have any advice for students?
Just go for it. Like, I don't...
Go for
just do it. Shout it. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah, like, just do it. Just throw yourself into it. Like, I wouldn't be embarrassed of anything, because at the end of the day, life's too short, you know. But life, it is, like, you may as well just enjoy it for while you can. And I think there's always a lot of pressure, especially nowadays. There's so much pressure to be what you think people want you to be, you know what I mean? Whereas uni is the best time to just do and be whatever you want to do and whatever you want to be. And especially within the kind of drama course, if you're quite new to it, or maybe you didn't do a lot of theatre or performing beforehand, you might be quite shy. The more you can just throw yourself at every kind of module or whatever within uni, and even outside of uni, the more that you can try and like push outside your comfort zone, the more you'll gain from it, you know. I think that's something that I learned, was just trying to push outside my comfort zone as much as I could, and trying to help other people, you know. Not trying, like, there's going to be people that are going to be more outgoing than you and whatever else, so there's no real like pressure to try and match their kind of extrovertness or whatever. You know,
that's good advice.
Yeah,
you
can take that. You can have that.
You can have that one. That's PK special.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, I hear you're a little bit of a riddle wizard.
Okay.
I hear that just down the grapevine, that you know riddles.
Okay.
And I was wondering if you could share with us a riddle. Okay. And if someone at home guesses the riddle, then you will win one of our other brilliant prizes. Now, this is a microwave cookbook. Yeah. And it looks like you can do all sorts in this microwave cookbook. It looks like you can do some sort of weird pear thing. You might want to microwave a few pears and then peel them and eat them, and it looks like some green pea soup that you might like. So this is a really good prize, and if you get this riddle at home, then you will win this. So, PK, have you got a riddle for us?
I do. I do have it. I just want to say that it's really nice that we're on holiday as well.
It's
the most that I've felt that I've got out of the everyday.
I have not been on holiday, and I've just actually found out that one of my holidays has been cancelled. So this is like the closest I'll be to a holiday. So yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
I almost feel I can get a bit of a tan off the lights, to be honest. Browning up my pasty skin. So a riddle. What stays in the corner but travels around the world? What stays in the corner but travels around the world? Here, camera 2. Sorry.
This is killing me, right? Because PK just won't tell me. He won't tell me what the answer is. So I really need someone at home to try and guess this riddle. And if you feel like you know it, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat and tell us the answer. And if you get it right, and which PK will reveal at the end, then you will win this microwave cookbook. Do you know what? I actually totally forgot that I was sat in front of the Bahamas. I totally forgot that I was sat in front of the Bahamas. So I just didn't mention it. Well, PK, it was really lovely to have you in our Bahama-themed interview.
Thanks very much.
Do you want to take a seat
back
over? That'd be lovely. Thanks very much. Okay, so next we have a very special guest with us today. We've got Lauren Patterson, who is going to be giving us a spoken word. We're going to be doing some spoken word on the side, some stand-up comedy. So we're really excited to have Lauren here today. So yeah, do you want to come down to the stage? Woo! Woo!
Lauren! Oh, I've forgotten how to use a watch. Hello. To be honest, I suppose stand up to an empty room with no laughter is spoken words, isn't it? That's pretty much what it is. And I've never gigged on a tropical beach either, so this is very exciting. To be honest, I know there might be people sitting watching being like, oh my God, like doing stand-up must be nerve-wracking, but doing stand-up to a room of 4 people must be terrifying. I have done Edinburgh Fringe shows to less than this, so this is absolutely, I am fine with it. So my name's Lauren, hello, nice to meet you. I did go to Northumbria. I went to Northumbria for 4 years. I did the undergrad and then I did the masters, and then I decided I was going to move to London to try and be a full-time comedian. So I sat my mum down and I went, Ma, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to London. I'm going to be a full-time comic. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to be. She went, what? I was like, I'm going to move to London. I'm going to move to London. I'm going to be a comedian. She went, a clown. You're going to move to London to be a clown. I was like, I'm not going to move to London to be a clown. I'm going to make people laugh, tell jokes. That's what I want to do. She went, you won't do it. You won't do it. You will not be a full-time comic. How can you make that happen? I was like, because I can make anything happen. Of course I can. I'm confident. I went to London. I was like, I'll prove you wrong. I'll be a full-time comedian by the end of the year. And I don't want to brag because that's not a very Geordie thing to do. But by the end of the year, I had gone full-time in Boots. But I tried my best. Turns out it was very hard to be a comedian in London. And working in Boots was my first proper job that I'd had outside of all the little things that I did at uni. And I'm going to hold my hands up now. I was not very good at it because I didn't move to London to work in Boots. I moved to be a comedian, so I didn't want to ever let go of that dream. I was like, well, all right, I can't be a comedian now, but what I'll do is I'll practice when I'm at work. I'll make people laugh. I'll make customers laugh. That's what I'll do. And if I can do that in the day, then I'll go do my gigs in the evening, and one day I won't need the day. I can just do the night, and that's what I'm going to do. And I used to love it until I got myself in a little bit of trouble. And my manager called us into the office one day and went, Lauren, you are not allowed to talk to customers anymore. I was like, what do you mean I'm not allowed to talk to customers? She went, you don't really have that boundary of what's sort of your comedy life and what is acceptable in Boots. You have to realise that Boots is not the comedy club. I was like, all right then, well, what am I supposed to do if I'm not allowed to talk to customers? She was like, for God's sake, just sell tampons and meal deals. That is all you're employed to do. Because that is all anyone ever comes to Boots to buy, isn't it? People only ever come to Boots if they're bleeding or eating. That's what they want. That's what I give them. And so I used to stand on my little till in London for minimum wage, and I just used to be so bored, not allowed to talk to anyone. I'd go to my gigs in the evening and I felt defeated. I was like, right, I need to do something to keep myself sort of fired up through the day. So I started to play a game to make the days go quicker called Judging Customers based on what they're buying, which was my favourite game of all time because I got to combine my favourite things, which was my imagination and judging strangers, my 2 favourite pastimes in life. And I'd have a little look at what people were buying, and I'd look at what was in the basket, and from that I'd try and work out what kind of person they were, what they were up to that evening, what their plans were for the week. I'd invent stories, I'd invent characters, I'd write comedy about it. It was brilliant. I got away with it for weeks until I got caught by the world's most confident woman who came in one day. She plonked her basket down. She looked us dead in the eye and didn't break eye contact. I was like, this is very intense. And I started to scan our things through, and suddenly the confidence just went through the roof because what this woman was buying was 2 packets of condoms and 11 packs of diarrhea relief tablets. Now you might think, Lauren, why is that confident? You are judgmental. How dare you judge that woman? She is allowed to do both of those things. Of course she is, but she was wearing white jeans. That's why it was confident. I can't eat a banana in public because I'm scared people will look at us funny. She's got the shits in white jeans. I wish I had that much faith. If I had as much faith in my comedy abilities as she had in her bowels, I'd be on live at the Apollo by now. I swear down. That's what would be happening. And I know I did the wrong thing, but I was 22, I was daft, and I giggled. I giggled as I'm scanning these things through. And again, without breaking eye contact, she went, what's your problem? I thought, well, I don't have a problem, but also I'm not allowed to talk to her because I'll get in trouble, so I'll just not say anything and this will sort itself. So I carried on scanning her things through. She went, I asked you, what's your problem? And I thought, I don't have a problem. And I'm starting to feel a bit panicky because I don't like confrontation. But then she leaned right across and went, do you think you're funny or something? And I was like, I bloody well do think I'm funny. And suddenly, so it switched in my brain. I was like, oh my God, this isn't a complaint. This isn't a customer complaining. This is an audience member heckling. That's what this is. I genuinely thought it was a heckle, and I was like, I know how to deal with these. I'll say something funny, I'll make her laugh, it'll break the tension. Tell you what, I might even get promoted to head till bitch of boots for this. This will be brilliant. So I must have grown about 6 inches. I was dead proud of myself. I went, I don't have a problem at all, just by the looks of what you're buying. No matter what happens tonight, shit's gonna get messy, isn't it? And as it came out my mouth, I was like, I think this is what my manager means about a lack of understanding of boundaries. This could be the problem. And I knew I'd said the wrong thing straight away. I was like, that's not appropriate for boots. So that's something that should be said in a comedy club. And straight away she went, I want to talk to your manager. I thought, oh, for God's sake, I'm going to get sacked. Because I was already on my final strike. I thought, this is it. I'm going to get sacked. So I sent her to talk to my manager. And I thought, right, you got 2 choices, Lauren. You panic and you get upset, or you take this in your stride. And I thought, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to get upset because I didn't give up everything. I didn't give up my lovely life in Newcastle to move to London to work in Boots. I moved here to be a comedian. So yes, I'm going to get sacked today, but this is going to be my first day as a full-time comedian. I'm being sacked from Boots because I'm the worst employee in Boots. But the reason I'm the worst employee in Boots is I am the best goddamn comedian in Boots. And I will take that and I will leave here with my head held high. So my manager comes over to tell us off. And I could see she was angry. I've never seen a woman get so angry so quickly. It was like she'd ran to the number 7 counter, she'd wiped her eyebrows off, and she'd drawn some more intimidating ones on. They were fuming, and she went, Lauren, you get your things. This is your last strike. You leave immediately. I thought, I'm not going to grovel. I'm not going to beg for my job. I'm not even going to apologise. I know I'm the worst employee in Boots, but I'm the best comedian in Boots, and I'm going to leave with me dignity. And as I turned to leave, she just screamed after us. And for the record, Lauren, yes, that girl had the shits, but at least she's getting more action than you. And the worst part about that day wasn't even getting sacked. It was having to sit on the bus home knowing I wasn't even the best comedian in Boots. That's soul destroying. Keep looking at this jumper. I know Liv mentioned I'm wearing a leopard print jumper, and some of you might be thinking that's quite a lot of leopard print for a small person. Lauren, are you going through a breakup? Yes, I am. Correct assumption. Did you get dumped on April Fool's Day during the global pandemic? Yes, I did. Had you been with that boyfriend for so long that you thought he was just having a joke and it was a big April Fool's prank, so you refused to accept that you were being broken up with? Yes, I did. And I'm not that kind of girl. I'm not the kind of girl who'll beg and grovel or anything like that. But I thought it was an April Fool's prank when he rang us to break up with us. So I just let him do this whole speech about how he didn't love us anymore, how he didn't see a future. I thought, he's gone to some real commitment for this prank. Yeah, he's written a bloody essay. Good on him. He must be bored in this pandemic. And when he got to the end of this speech, I went, I think you'll find, Ben, it's after 12 o'clock, so you're the fool in this scenario. He was like, what are you talking about? I'm genuinely breaking up with you. But like, now I've got the benefit of hindsight. It's been like 6 months. I know we never would have lasted. I know me and him were not right for each other. We got on very well, but I don't think we had a future together. Like what he says, he was much, much posher than me. Like much posher, and that's not a problem. I don't want anyone to think that I don't like posh people. I've had people say it was before, because I do a lot of stand-up about class and about being working class. They go, oh, so she's got a problem with middle-class people, so her comedy isn't for middle-class people? Not at all. That is not the case. I love everybody. My comedy is for everyone. I like to think of my comedy as like cheap wine, by which I mean it can be enjoyed by absolutely anyone, no matter who you are, as long as your standards are low enough. That is very much my brand of comedy. I didn't know he was posh when I first started going out with him. I had no idea, because I met him on a dating app. I remember, because I had moved to London, I didn't know how to meet people, so I was like, right, I'm going to do the dating apps. And my flatmates were like, what are you looking for? I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't really care. I don't care if he's tall or short. I don't care about hair colour. They were like, but you've got to be looking for something. I was like, all right, then eyes. They were like, he's all going to have eyes, Lauren. That's not really something to narrow it down by. I was like, no, I like someone who's got nice eyes. I think you can tell a lot by someone's eyes. So I'm looking for a man with nice eyes. They were like, brilliant. That's what you look for, a man with nice eyes. I went, not just nice eyes, a man whose eyes make me heart melt. That's what I want. That's not too much to ask. And after 2 weeks on this dating app, I was like, never mind a man whose eyes make me heart melt. Just a man whose eyes point the same way. That would honestly just do me fine. And I eventually found someone who I liked, and he made us laugh, and he was funny, and we agreed to meet. When I went to meet him, I sort of went over and I went to shake his hand. Remember that? Being able to shake people's hands. That was nice, wasn't it? The glory days. And I said, hi, I'm Lauren. Nice to meet you. And he went, oh, hi, I'm Ben. The pleasure's all mine, I'm sure. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't expect him to be posh. I'd looked at these pictures and I'd imagined what he sounded like, and it wasn't that. And we ended up obviously getting together, but at the start, him being posh really played on my mind quite a bit, because I was worried that people would judge me. Not that they judge him, but that they would hear him speak and then hear me and think, oh, she's a bit common for him. Oh, she's a bit rough. And I was really, really preoccupied that people were judging me because of how I sounded compared to him. And I chatted about it to him one day, and he went, I don't know why you think I'm posh. I went, well, you dress really nice, you've got a good job, like, you talk really well. I went, I think you're posh. He went, I'm not. And I'm going to put these rumours to bed. Tell you what, come to my house. Come see me house. You'll see I live in a totally normal home. I'm not posh, Lauren. I'm just like you. Come round, come for dinner at me house. Let's really put your mind to rest. I was like, okay, that sounds nice. So I went round to his house so he could prove that he wasn't posh. We'd been dating maybe about 6 weeks by this point, and I turned up to find myself in front of a 4-story house. This was him trying to prove he wasn't posh. He lived in a 4-story house. I felt like I was in Debenhams. It was the best night of my life. It was incredible. And then we had dinner in the dining room. So I was like, straight away, mate, you're posh. If you're not having your dinner on your knee in front of the telly, you are one posh boy in my eyes. And I'm sat at this lovely dining table. We're having wine with dinner. And he went, why do you look so uncomfortable? I went, I just don't get why you won't admit that you're posh. Like, I used to be really ashamed of being working class. I thought it was something to be embarrassed by. But now I'm so proud of who I am. And I don't understand why you can't just own being posh. He went, because I'm not, and I'll prove it. And he left the room. And he was gone for so long that I thought, is this house mine now? Like, have I won? Is this how poor people get property? Because this is brilliant. This is amazing. But he comes back and he's got a photo album. He went, have a look at that. I went, I don't really want to have a look at your family photos. We've not been going out for that long. This seems a bit intense. He went, no, it'll prove I'm not posh. If you look through that, you'll see I had a totally normal childhood, but we played with the same toys, wore the same kind of clothes, went on the same holidays. That album will prove I'm not posh. I was like, all right then, if it means that much to you. So I started flicking through this album, and I got halfway through. I went, right, I've seen enough, and I want you to put your hand on your heart, look me in the eyes and say, Lauren, I am posh and I am proud to be. He went, how do you know I'm posh? You didn't even get all the way through the photos. I went, because I've seen all the evidence I need to see. You have got 1, 2, 3, 4 siblings. Posh. He went, how does that make us posh? Because I've got 4 siblings. I went, oh, it doesn't. It's just there's only one dad in all of the photos, and that very much settles me case there, doesn't it? Bless him. I think that is my time. You have been absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. Cheers. Am I staying here?
Yeah, just before we take a seat though.
COVID spray.
I'm just going to whiz over with a little COVID spray. COVID spray like it's COVID in a bottle.
Yeah.
There we go.
Lovely.
Homemade recipe. Right.
Perfect.
Well, I'm constantly going to something else.
Here's the proof.
Yeah.
There we go.
No.
Lovely.
No COVID on my bum. No, thank you.
Just going to get my little chair, look.
If you had to have COVID on a specific part of your body, where would you choose to have it?
You
said not your
yeah.
bum, but where?
All right then.
Where would you choose? Bottom of your foot?
I was going to say like big toe.
All right.
Big toe. No one likes a big toe.
What, COVID on a big toe?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I can't imagine that.
COVID.
Oh, it's worth it just for that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Do I still need this? I don't do it.
Don't know. No,
We were
you
just
don't.
talking about this before, about the whole being in an empty room but still being like, look, I'm going to make I'm professional. I'm going to put it down. There we go.
So tell us a little bit about that set that you just did. Is that part of like a show? Is it?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So the stuff about working at Boots, I wrote that actually when I was at uni.
Ah.
And that was a lot, because when I was at uni, I had not a lot to talk about. So I used to do a lot of material about being at uni, having like part-time jobs. And then when I sort of left uni, I kind of, because that's the good thing about stand-up, is you can always slightly twist your bits to keep them relevant, or like make them make sense now. You can change little details, and so that went in my first show, Lady Mock, because I'd written this show, and my agent at the time came to see it, and she was like, the show's really good. She was like, but it's missing something, like we need to get to know you a bit more. And I hadn't put any of like what I would call my club stand-up, so the stuff I would do like at comedy clubs. I hadn't put any of that in the show, so I had all this stuff written because I'd been gigging for so long, and I was like, oh, I'm going to pick the bits that sort of tell my story the most, put them at the top of the show. So that's like your introduction to me, and then go into like sort of the narrative of the show, and then it just made the whole thing click. And some of the material I hadn't done in like months, and I'd sort of just parked it at one side, and then all of a sudden this stuff just made my whole show like so much better. And then
so
the
it's
bit
like
about
picking up little bits from here and there.
exactly,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, great.
And then the bit about posh boyfriend was I did have a posh boyfriend.
Yeah.
Did heavily being the operative word, but again, all that stuff used to be about me and him being together. But the good thing is, even though now we've broken up, I just have to be like, my ex-boyfriend.
I think he sounds posh, even with the handshake.
Yeah.
Like, when do you ever...
Loved a handshake.
I would never... Do you handshake people when you first meet
See,
someone?
I'm a hugger.
Yeah, I'm a hugger. I'm a
which
hugger.
I'm probably responsible for all of this.
You alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never would go to handshake someone.
I feel like handshakes are so formal.
Very serious.
I feel like, especially working in comedy, obviously it's a lot of like men and older men, and I feel like a lot of them go for the handshake,
Yeah.
but sometimes I feel like it's like an alpha dominance thing. So
Oh.
I try and like play them at their own game, and I'm like, yeah, I'll shake your hand. And then I'm like, oh.
Is there a particular handshake that feels...
I've got such a weak handshake. I don't like when people do the bone crushing
Yeah,
ones.
no,
I'm
me
like,
neither.
what did my knuckles
I don't
ever
really like
do?
a weak handshake either,
Oh,
though.
no, you would not like an introduction. You'd be like, who is this flimsy thing?
So, how long have you been like working as a stand-up comedian?
I've been doing stand-up for 8 years. So I started doing
Wow.
stand-up I did my first gigs at Live Theatre when I was 15, because I was in their youth theatre,
right.
and they did like stand-up, and I like sort of joined those workshops and did that, but I was too young to properly do comedy. And then just before I came to uni, I was like waiting for my A-level results, and I kind of sort of entered this comedy competition just for like a bit of stage time. And I ended up getting through to like the next round, and I was a bit like, I hadn't really planned for this. So I had to quickly sign up for more gigs, and then I really got like the bug of it. Then I started uni in the September. I kind of didn't really gig that much in my first year of uni because I was settling in and doing all this stuff. And then the second year of uni, I was like, oh no, I really want to, like, I don't want to just gig once every couple of months. I really want to make a go of it. And then I did my masters, moved to London after, and then I went full-time comedy 3 years ago, which is not the case anymore thanks to COVID, but still,
Yeah.
I had a lovely 3 years where like my job was just comedy, and it was I never thought I'd be able to make that happen.
Yeah,
Never.
it sounds brilliant. It sounds like you've just been going from job to job to job. So do you want to tell us a little bit about like what you were doing running up to the pandemic?
Yeah, so I was working full-time comedy. I'd started to get my first couple of jobs like writing for TV. So like, sorry to pull the curtain back and shatter all your illusion, a lot of comics on TV have their things written for them. If you look at if you look at the credits and see like program associates, that's what they are. Sometimes they'll be credited as writers, but obviously like your comics are on TV all the time. There's no way they can turn over material like that fast and stuff. So often they'll be like writers and they'll offer like material to the people. And I was on the show Roast Battle 2 years ago. No, when I like last January, and I loved it. I absolutely loved that. So I was like performed on that. And then when it came back for the next series, I asked if I could write for people. So again, I wrote some jokes for that, and I was like, oh yes, now I'm going to get like writing, because that's the good thing about comedy, like you're a writer and a performer. So I was like, brilliant, I'm going to start getting more writing jobs. But then obviously the pandemic stopped that. But I was gigging a lot internationally as well.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Where were you heading?
So I got nominated for Best Newcomer in Edinburgh in 2017 for my debut show, which is obviously like, it was a pretty big deal. So I was buzzing. And that's around the time when I went full time with stand up, because everything just went mad. I went to India for 2 weeks and toured India. That was pretty cool. And then I came back from India and I went to Turkey for a night to Istanbul. Yes, I went to Istanbul. That was pretty cool. I got put up in the Ritz, and I was like, this is the poshest place I've ever been.
Oh, wow.
Free Turkish delight, yes
Ritz.
please. And then I came back to the UK for a couple of months, and then I went to Perth in Australia, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, New Zealand. So I was gone for like 4 or 5 months, which was incredible. And then just as the trip was wrapping up in New Zealand, I got a phone call saying I'd be booked for Just for Laughs in Montreal, which is like huge. Like, so it was on me.
Cool.
I had like a list of like dream goals I want to achieve in my comedy career, and I thought I would achieve those like across my career, and I literally ticked them all off in a year, and I was like, oh God, like, because I'd aimed high, because I think that's what you do when you're making your goals, don't you? I had me like sort of head in the clouds goals, and then what I felt were my more achievable ones, like do 2S support and do this. But like within this year, I ticked off all these things, and I was like, oh my God, like, have I manifested this all? Like, is that what's happened? So
and
I
that's
got
a good feeling as well, doing that ticking.
Exactly.
So what is it like gigging in front of like an audience, say in Australia? Like, how is that different to gigging here?
It's so cool because like I think they're so excited that like British comics have come over, and especially Melbourne. I think the Melbourne Comedy Festival's got a really good rep for bringing over very good like British talent. And what I did in Melbourne was there's a show called The New Order, and they pick like 4 up-and-coming British comics, and you basically do like a showcase gig, and then it's with a view to the festival obviously bringing you back maybe a year down the line or a couple of years down the line. But they're just so, and especially there's a lot of like expats in Australia, so I'd have these like broad Aussies coming up to us being like, oh yeah, my dad's from Newcastle, and they'd be like, no he's not, like listen how you sound. And that was mad, like being on the other side of the world and having these people come into my shows being like, oh, we saw you in the programme and saw you were from Newcastle, and that's why
that's nice.
my granddad was from Newcastle, my auntie, my uncle, and I was like, you're never far from a Geordie. It's amazing. In India was cool as well because especially the gender thing as well, like there's not many sort of young women doing comedy, so it's very like male. It's still quite new, the stand-up scene in India, and it's very, very male dominated. So that was quite, even for like an audience to be like, oh my God, girls, like I would have girls coming up to us after being like, oh, we didn't know we could do this, and I'm like, you can do anything.
Oh, nice one.
Which is pretty cool. But I loved it. I'd never been further than Spain. And then within 6 months, I went everywhere. So that's pretty
brilliant.
Cool.
So obviously, before all of this,
yes,
before everything, you were at Northumbria Uni as a student.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you liked about being a student at Northumbria?
I loved my 3 years at Northumbria on the undergrad. I originally didn't apply for Northumbria. My top choice was Manchester, because I think like a lot of students, I was like, I need to leave my hometown.
Right, yeah.
I felt like if I stayed in Newcastle, it would be like failing. If I stayed, that's what I was like, no, I have to. And when I didn't get into Manchester, I sort of like rethought things, and I'd had Northumbria as a choice, and I came to the open day and I fell in love with it. I really, really fell in love with it. And I think if I'd come to the open day before, like right at the start, I don't think I even would have applied for Manchester. Because I moved out, I went into Hull so that I could get a bit more of like a uni experience. But I got to, even though I'm from Newcastle, I experienced Newcastle in a totally different way because I was living in a part of the city that I'd never really been to, and you know, all my friends were from other places. Like I just loved, like I remember like sometimes you'd see like what a lecture you were doing and you'd be like, what's that got to do with anything? And you'd turn up to the most fascinating lecture, and you'd be amazed at like how much stuff could tie into like what you were doing. I found it really interesting. The lecturers were great. Like I had a lovely, lovely time. And I think the good thing about being a student in Newcastle is even if what you want to do isn't necessarily being covered on the course, there are so many opportunities in Newcastle to get involved, to do your own stuff. Like nobody was teaching stand-up on the course, but there is a comedy club a 5-minute walk from the campus. Like if you want to do stand-up, go sign up to that. Go like.
And now I think there is actually a module.
There is,
around stand-up comedy, isn't there? Yeah.
I want to come in and be a little guest lecturer.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's put a little hint in down there. Yeah.
I was just saying before we started this, I emailed because I moved back up to Newcastle in March. That was my plan all along pre-pandemic, and I sent an email to the uni to say, oh, I see you've got a stand-up and cabaret module. Would you like me to pop in sometime? And like 3 days later, we went into lockdown. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to come.
No.
I don't think they need me.
Yeah, I think it's a real testament to the course in a way, in the fact that there's so many people in the northeast now who you can trace back to that course.
Oh yeah,
like you can trace back to Northumbria, and I think that's what's
even
that's
Ali,
really
who
exciting.
is like this,
Ali, who sadly isn't here today, but he is the artistic director of Alphabetti Theatre, and this was a project, wasn't it? It was a project that was just formed at his final year project at Alphabetti, and then Alphabetti, at Northumbria Uni, and then this all came from it.
And so I remember Ali coming in to give a talk in one of our classes. I must have been in first year, and he mentioned the Fringe. And at the point, I'd not been to I think I'd been at the Fringe, but just for a day. But I hadn't been, and I was planning on going that year. And he was like, "Any questions?" And I was like, I was that annoying kid. I was like, how do you do flyer and how do you do this? And because so many people go on to do good things, the fact Northumbria can then bring these people back, it inspires like the next lot of people, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I think like you've got quite an interesting story in the way that you went to Northumbria Uni and did the drama course, but with always the idea about stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Or was that always your idea? Were you thinking about theatre as well?
I was on performance, which I think has got a different name now, hasn't it? Like, but I always knew I wanted to do something with comedy, but I briefly thought I might want to be a teacher. And there was a facilitation module in second year, and I loved it so much so that I was like, that's what I want to be. I want to be a drama teacher. Again, I reached out to one of the theatres in the area, and I was like, could I come do some facilitating? He sent me into a school that they did workshops in, and I hated it. I hated it. But you know what? I am so grateful that I got that opportunity, because if I'd just done the facilitation workshop and then gone, right, I'm going to do a PGCE, I'm going to be a teacher, what a horrible I would have hated it. But because I got the opportunity to actually go and try it out, I was like, oh, that's not for me. And I think that's such a good thing. What I enjoyed about being a student here is you find out what's not for you as well, and that's part of the if you don't enjoy something, good, because then you know that's not what you want to do. Like, I would not have been a good teacher. No. Thank you, Northumbria.
Well, thank God you're not. You're a stand-up comedian.
Thank you for pointing me on the right path.
Yeah. And do you have any advice for people who are maybe on the course and are thinking about stand-up comedy?
Yeah, I feel like my advice in general, like regardless of what you want to do, is on this course you get out what you put in. Absolutely. Like, you can turn up to the lectures and turn up to the classes and you will get so much out of it. But it's what you're engaging with outside, and the shows you're going to see, the people you're interacting with, the stuff you're choosing to do in your spare time. That's when you'll get so much more out of like the course. And for anyone specifically wanting to do comedy, message me, I'll help you. But there's the Stand Comedy Club right in the centre of town, and when things go a bit more back to normal, hopefully, go on a Wednesday, they have a night that's £3, and it's their like sort of like new act, new material night. Go watch a few of those. Don't even like sign up at first, go watch it. Like, the good thing about the North East is we have such a good comedy scene. Go to the comedy club, go to the weird little alternative venues, go see stuff, take a chance.
Come here.
Even for people who don't want to do comedy, come see comedy, because you can learn so much from, like, especially comics doing like an hour touring show. Like, come and see so much stuff.
Because just before we finish, you were actually going to have a show here, weren't you?
I had a whole week of shows here. I was going to take over. I was going to do different stuff every night. I was going to preview my new show. I was doing a night for charity because I'm a really good person. I was going to do like an all-female night, showcasing all the female talent here. We went into lockdown the day before they were due to start.
I know.
So that was very sad. But
it's cruel,
I'll be back, because I did the first show here when this venue opened. This is a very... I think not just people who go to Northumbria, but people who come through the course are loyal. And I'm so loyal to this venue. I was just saying, like, before we started filming, when I filmed my debut show, my sort of like agents wanted me to film it in London, and I was like, I'll film it in Newcastle, and they were like, no, we think you should film it in London. I was like, I'll film it in Newcastle. Like, I wanted to come back to the clubs and the place that had started that career.
That's good,
and I think you get so many people from Northumbria and from Newcastle who are so loyal to where they started.
That's lovely. Oh, well, thanks so much, Lauren. It's been lovely to chat with you and hear your stand-up comedian set. You mentioned charity, and that kind of brings me on to my next point. I'm going to head to this camera. So we are running this as a fundraiser tonight. As you might know, it's a little bit tough at the moment. It's tough for the arts in particular. And so if you are able to sling us a few quid, then that would be absolutely brilliant. You can donate to us on our website. Our kind of ethos at Alphabetti is that great art should be for everyone, not just those who can afford it. So whatever you can put in, that would be fab. Thank you very much. We are going to head over to PK now, who's going to sing us a final song. But before you do, PK, I was wondering, I don't know whether anyone's got the riddle yet, but I was wondering if you could just give us a little refresher on what that riddle was.
What?
He can't even remember himself.
What stays in the corner but travels around the world? Did you get that? Yeah? What stays in the corner but travels all around the world?
Okay.
Am I telling you or am I waiting? Alright, okay. Just another tease. A bit of a riddle tease.
you'll kick yourself whenever you hear it. You'll go, oh, it is that? Yeah, that's right. That's true. Here's another song. This one's a bit happier, upbeat, cheerier, something like that. Let's go to the seaside, honey. Not a lot to do, nothing to prove. Skipping stones by the seaside, honey. Bangor's looking lovely, so are you. We're hardly wasting time. Let's go to the quayside, honey. We can watch the sunset from the bridge. A few drinks by the quayside, honey. Reminisce of our history in tune. We're hardly wasting time at all. What is time when we have no fear in love? Don't be so hard on you. God knows we're fighting for the truth. Don't be so hard on you. God knows we're fighting for the truth. We're hardly wasting time at all. What is time when we have no fear in love? Oh, we're hardly wasting time at all. What is time when we have no fear in love? Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah? Och, thank you.
I love that just as much as I love a big bowl of spaghetti. Love spaghetti. It's lovely. Love it. So thank you very much for tuning in this Betti Show. It's been really lovely to have you all here today. I hope you enjoyed some of the music by Patrick Kelly. Round of applause for Patrick. Woohoo! And I hope you liked the stand-up comedy set by Lauren Patterson. Woohoo! So, the moment you've all been waiting for, the prizes. Who's won? We don't know. Andrea, have we got all the prizes? Has everyone found out things? She's going to throw me something. Oh, okay. This is exciting. She's thrown me a letter. I'm going to put my beer down and read it. What does it say? The riddle winner. The riddle winner. Have we got a riddle winner? Is it in here? Oh, drum roll, please. I can't wait to find out what it is. So, the winner of the riddle, which is the microwave cookbook, is Fiona Johnson. Woohoo! Well done. Oh. It's a stamp.
Yeah, it is.
Oh!
I told you.
Do you know what? I've never have got that. I was saying stuff
That's
like
all right, isn't it?
darkness.
What's her name?
Fiona Johnson.
Well done, Fiona.
Well done, Fiona Johnson. Okay, well done, Fiona. Next up, we have... I caught that one. Okay, so this one is Who Spotted Rex? Now, you must have been quite sneaky with this because I didn't even spot Rex. You must have spotted him. So, who spotted Rex? The winner is Grace Armstrong. Well done. On the back of the first act. Is it on the back of the first act? Shall we see? Is it on the back of the first act? Ooh. Way! Spotted Rex. Brilliant. And who won the second prize? Oh, so hold on. So Fiona, you won your very own microwave cookbook and an Alphabetti calendar as well. This is lush. You're gonna have a great time. I really hope you make these pair thingies. I think
you can schedule all of our meals in our calendar.
That is, you can schedule all your meals. It's like a meal planner. Wow, that's a good prize. I'd want that. And Grace, you won a piece of Alphabetti. Your very own piece of Alphabetti. Now you can do whatever you want with that. You can make it into a necklace or a ring, or you could frame it, or you could just keep it around the house as a paperweight. That would be a good paperweight. So you get that, and you also get a calendar as well. And the final winner is Spaghetti. Who won the spaghetti challenge? The winner is Bethany P. Well done. Woo-hoo! Well done, Bethany. You won yourself, again, a Rex calendar. Can't advertise these enough. I think they're brilliant. And some stickers. So maybe you could put these in the calendar when you've had a happy day, maybe. I don't know. So that's all the winners. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been great to have you guys here, and I hope that you return to us when we're not in these times, maybe in the future when we've got the bar open and we've got theatre shows being played. Maybe Lauren Patterson's here, maybe Patrick Kelly's here, and yeah, we can have a good time then. All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Woo-hoo!